Chairman Castro, for calling this important hearing to discuss the U.S. development assistance in Afghanistan. It is my hope that the committee continues holding hearings to discuss what went disastrously wrong with the U.S. withdrawal and what the future implications are for U.S. national security. Almost $145 billion has been appropriated for Afghanistan relief and reconstruction since 2002. And while many important gains were made during these years to support the people of Afghanistan, especially to advance the rights of women and children, increasing their access to education and supporting civil society, there were also failures impossible to miss. The series of reports released by the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction on lessons learned from our 20-year mission offers important takeaways. In the aftermath of the botched withdrawal, however, we do need to seriously question why the Biden administration did not heed those lessons. And we need to ask why, even now, our priorities seem to be misplaced. Today, it's clear what our number one priority should be ensuring. It's ensuring the safety and security of U.S. citizens, our lawful permanent residents, the civs, and at-risk Afghans who supported U.S. policy objectives over the last 20 years and now whose lives are in danger. In this vein, we must continue to focus our tax dollars on counterterrorism, especially in the light of recent intelligence reports which indicate that Al-Qaeda could reemerge in 1 to 2 years in Afghanistan, notwithstanding the proven and deadly threat of ISIS-K. Despite what Secretary Blinken stated before our committee last month, we can in no way trust the Taliban, a terrorist organization itself, to ensure that Afghanistan does not become a hotbed for violent extremism. So far, however, the administration seems content with pursuing priorities other than national security. For example, I'm deeply concerned about premature conversations by the Biden administration to restart U.S. non-humanitarian aid programs. Not only do key questions remain about the makeup and structure of the Taliban-controlled government of Afghanistan, but in addition to our citizens left behind, there are still U.S. implementing partners trying to get their staff out of the country. Here's a number here's the number the administration doesn't like to cite. Over 10,000 current and former U.S. aid partner staff are still asking for help to be evacuated. These are men and women that have worked alongside us for over 20 years, implementing programs to advance critical stabilization and recovery priorities. Getting these people to safety needs to be this administration's priority. We need to show up for partners that risk their own personal safety to implement U.S.-funded programs. And frankly, the lack of urgency to address this critical issue is astounding. We cannot afford to take any action, including resuming non-humanitarian assistance programs that would legitimize the Taliban-controlled government of Afghanistan. One consequence of the withdrawal of the U.S. forces and diplomats that's not being discussed enough is the limitations on our ability to effectively monitor and implement U.S. assistance programs. We have seen the destructive role that the Taliban plays in provision of assistance before, from dictating NGO operations to excluding women and children from participating in programs. Over 18 million Afghan civilians, nearly half the population, are in dire need of humanitarian assistance after the disastrous collapse of the country, the subsequent severe economic downturn, and the rapidly approaching winter months. There is a clear need here, but with the Taliban in full control, options are extremely limited. Because, to be clear, we must not take any step to enable or provide any more leverage to the Taliban government sitting in Kabul, and we must be sure that not a single U.S. tax dollar ends up in their hands. So I hope that the Inspector General sheds light on how ongoing aid programs in other security restrictive environments like Yemen, Somalia, Syria, and Iraq could inform the risks and safeguards necessary for current and future assistance programs in Afghanistan. Mr. Sapko, I really look forward to your testimony, and I yield back the balance of my time. Thank you.